Welcome to day two of the CCS Season 7 Championships from back with Somber. For day two, the top 16 teams go to battle this afternoon. 4 teams will advance to tomorrow's Final Four. Somber, how's it going, man? It's going to be a long afternoon here and a lot of fun as the next two rounds of this tournament kick off across the next top 2 hours.
Crazy matchups that are off broadcast right now, which is kind of a shame, but we'll be reporting scores if anything comes through. But it's gonna be a day to keep eyes out on because we're coming up on Championship Sunday. There's been some pretty crazy upsets to say the least throughout the bracket already, and I'm super looking forward to it. Wasn't unfortunately wasn't able to be here yesterday, but I'm here for today, and I'm just happy to be able to catch some action here for playoffs.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's always a blast to be here alongside you and alongside the CCS community. And this tournament's always delivers when it needs to, and it always provides a lot of entertainment. And we're super excited to get this tournament run for a 7th time, but really the 4th time in tournament era in CCS. And always having this big field of 64 is a lot of fun. It's always entertaining. I'm excited to see what happens this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, already throughout the bracket, we were talking about it before. I think the biggest upset of the bracket so far, Pitt 4-2 over Charlotte yesterday. JMU over Virginia Tech. That was a I won't say a crazy result. I know JMU can play to that caliber, but Virginia Tech has looked really good this season so far. Colorado with a commanding sweep over Arizona State to now face off against Florida, which will be our first streamed matchup. Winthrop making their way through the bracket as they've had a pretty stellar fall, making their way through. And everything else throughout the rest of the bracket running pretty much business as usual, but some big time matchups that have occurred and some big upsets that have happened throughout this bracket so far. And now Florida, who has been on kind of a hot streak, not just in CCS, but nationally, it's the story of them at DreamHack has been kind of passed around the collegiate scene time and time again. And seeing them be able to kind of keep that momentum from LAN now back onto online play and being a juggernaut once again in CCS. Colorado going to have their hands full, but they've also been able to turn their season around quickly and find themselves into a nice position in playoffs as well.
Yeah, Colorado played their way into the tournament, in the latter half of the season once Cole started competing again alongside Digo in the ice. But, they got to the Big 12 tournament. They were a 7th seed. They won the entire thing, automatically punched their ticket as a 7th seed, got a 6th seed here at the championships, and now the rest has been history for the Buffaloes. But, I think the storyline to follow this weekend is, can Akron repeat as a 4th-time defending national champion? That's obviously, the leading storyline here. But, what Pittsburgh did yesterday, Cinderella has tied her slippers. But how far can Pitt dance?
Yeah, and yes, quantity. LA Tech taking to Akron to 6. I mean, Akron, they always find a way to make things interesting in earlier rounds in the playoffs, and then when it comes down to the semis and grands, they really lock in. But yeah, Akron is going to be the big storyline. It's seeing how far they can go. I think that they have a chance. I mean, especially the way that they've been playing the 2v2 with Messi and Hadarubi, they have looked insane, and they've taken some big time wins off of some big time teams, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with if they make it deep into this bracket run. So I'm going to be interested to keep tabs on them as well. I think that JMU is going to be a tough team, but they have just through the pure 2v2 prowess of Messi and Hadarubi, the offense that they've been able to put together as a duo, I think that will be able to transition into a lot of success in 3v3, just being able to operate their offense with a 2-man game like that. It'll be a good matchup against JMU to see if they are contenders or pretenders through this bracket.
Right, and obviously the biggest result obviously is Pitt over Charlotte for sure, but that's probably the upset of the tournament. Obviously, fastest 1 seed to lose in tournament era, with alongside that Florida loss to NIU last season, the round of 32. But now 8th seed has 2 wins over a 1. But nonetheless, there's a lot of good teams still remaining. I mean, Purdue and Akron, assuming both advance, might be, or Maryland Akron would be a great game here, top of the next hour. Today's gonna be a lot of great games, and we'll report final scores as they come in.
Yeah, I believe the Maryland Akron matchup may have been a BBB matchup as well, so we might be able to see Maryland possibly get some revenge and stop the four-peat. But yeah, I don't know. Akron Gold, we said it during the selection show. This is Akron's league. They have ran it from the moment that they stepped foot into this league. And right now, especially with how they're kind of shooting up the national rankings and being touted as not just a gatekeeper team of the top 20, but starting to threaten as a top 15 caliber roster, they've been playing some really solid Rocket League lately, like playing at a new peak. And I'm going to be interested to see if teams can make them sweat as we get further and further along the bracket, because it seems like whenever they get tougher competition, that's when they step up to the plate more. So, well, I'll be interested to see if Maryland or Purdue, whoever advances on through, is able to finally uh, make Akron Gold sweat a little bit and threaten the crown that they hold.
Well, Akron's never lost a game in tournament era in CCS since they stepped foot in the league, and they've lost a couple of non-conference games in week 1 and 2 when there's 2 weeks of non-con, but they've never lost a tournament game. They're perfectly unbeaten. I think they're 22-0 in tournament games. They've never lost.
Wow.
So I think as long as that'll continue, this is Akron stomping grounds, and it always will be. But we've brought in top caliber team after top caliber team, and Akron has never phased. So this tournament's hard to win. It's single elimination, win or go home. It's survive and advance and all that stuff. But Akron always find a way to win. That's what's so fun about them, to watch that roster compete. It doesn't matter how big of a hole they're in. They've pulled off 2 reverse sweeps in this tournament in the past. It doesn't matter what the score is.
Yeah.
They always find ways to win.
Yeah, I was going to say the reverse sweep against ETSU. I think that was when I was like, okay, Akron is not going to let these games get away from them. Whether it's a sweep or reverse sweep, 5, 6, best of 9, doesn't matter. They're going to find a way to win. But enough of the Akron talk. We're going to get ready for kickoff here between Florida and Colorado. Like you said, Colorado, they had to run the gauntlet to get here. A 7th seed out of their conference, ran through the playoffs, dominated that bracket, and are looking to do some damage here against a top 4 favorite, I would say, in Florida. The Gators have had one heck of a season coming out of the SEC, and they've been able to show off some of their online prowess on land as well. And now Colorado looks to challenge the Titan that is the Florida Gators.
Yeah, and again, Colorado in trouble early. Tammy Crackers makes it 1-0, 4:38 to go. And again, Florida coming off that round of 32 exit from the summer, Somber. They've got a lot to prove, and they've got a chip on their shoulder here this week and trying to go win a national title.
Yeah, I think that coming out of this region, they are the favorites, I think, to make it to their finals out of the region, and possibly a top 4, top 2, possibly. Are they in the same side as Akron? I forget if they're on the same side as the Midwest.
Yes, they are.
Okay,
It would be an Akron, Florida Final Four.
Yeah, I think an Akron, Florida Final Four is what the people need. I mean, to be fair, just a few short weeks ago, that one gonna rattle off the post. Could have been a second here for Florida, but just a few short weeks ago, this same Florida squad swept Akron Gold on land in their opening game. They went on I believe 6.5 hour drive. They all piled up in Hammy Cracker's car and made the drive out to Georgia, and then came out and just whooped Akron Gold fresh off of a drive. So with more momentum underneath them, with more reps at a high level, I'd be interested to see that rematch happen again here and see if they could challenge that Akron crown here once again. But again, you will have to play through Colorado, who has been on a hot streak. They've already had one upset. Who's to say they don't have another? And with a best of 7 here slated for us, it's going to be a interesting matchup to say the least. And so far, with Florida holding on to this 1-goal lead, it is Colorado threatening this net on the Florida half. But Hammy Cracker is going to take possession and look to reset here at the midfield, but shut down quickly by Colorado.
And Akron had that Great Lakes Esports land back in Michigan last spring, in the most stacked tournament CCS has ever had, with Michigan State and that old Syracuse roster. And Akron still went on. They had a horrible land. They had bad results. for what their expectations were, and they came into CCS and dominated. So I think you take those wins and losses with a grain of salt. I think this weekend proves that with all the results we've had. So I think, results, sure, they matter, but when it comes to time to play, you got to be ready to go. And Florida, Colorado here, sure, Florida's favored by a lot. That's just a big goal from Sap, but Colorado doesn't make Florida fight for it.
Man, Florida is such a momentum team that a goal like this is going to do wonders going down this back half of this game. Sap, not only at the DreamHack, but at BBB, there were stories kind of passed between the teams who were there, who weren't there. I don't know who out there is familiar with the Bruton Parker roster, but they are some of the loudest people out of LAN. They get their program director, their coaches, their AD, their B team, C team, whoever, all there at LAN with them, and they have a whole like pack of people getting loud behind the tables. And Sap himself was louder than that entire Bruton Parker crew. He is the hype here in CCS, and Florida thrives off of that. So a big goal like that is going to do wonders for them. But 2 goals in 2 minutes down is Colorado, and they cut that right in half. I was going to say they have an opportunity here. They make good on it. Cole off the sidewall, simple infield, and it gets that lead back down to 1 for Florida.
With how rough the Big 12 has been regarded as, with the departures of Iowa State and Cincinnati, this would be a big time win for the Big 12 if Colorado can come off and stun Florida. But again, Larry does a stellar job with the Florida social media, and I saw all those videos from DreamHack about how hype that team is getting, and the result is Larry drops a third, 147, and then Florida lead by 2.
They get it right back. They give up 1, and just a simple passing play yet again, and Larry on no boost gets just enough on an extension there to get it through. 3-1 the scoreline now with 147 on the clock, and see if they can go ahead and tack on more. As Colorado, they've had some good offensive output. They've had some good opportunities. The challenges at midfield are at least threatening enough to try to break up these Florida plays, but just those simple ones out of the corner that they need to find a way to get out of. Cole gonna take a nice 50. Ice takes it over from the top. Digo now looking to go the length of the pitch. Larry will cut it off. Sap looking back for Hammy Crackers. Cole puts a hand up, but Hammy able to maneuver around it. Now Digo chasing down Hammy Crackers. Ice no touch on the follow-up. Sap flick past 1, look to get it back mid. A soft touch cleared out by Digo, but straight to Larry, and there it is. Florida finds a 4th.
1:10 to go. Florida running away with game 1, and again, Colorado looked really, really good yesterday against Arizona State, but this is a completely step up, I'd say, from Arizona State to Florida, who again just came off a top 2 finish at DreamHack and are looking for a national title. Larry told me that after that DreamHack performance, they're winning the national championship. There's no other words about it, that they are going to win. So they've got a lot to play for tonight. They'll take on Colorado here, then South Carolina will look for revenge there, or maybe, just maybe, Winthrop stuns South Carolina, which I don't think they will, as Hammy Crackers makes it 5-1.
Yeah, talking about that South Carolina roster, it would be just exactly what would be drawn up for CCS. Having an SEC matchup in a top 8, right, is having South Carolina versus Florida. South Carolina also coming off of a LAN win. This past weekend over at the Florence Esports Festival was the Peach Belt Esports Conference LAN, and it's a bunch of teams in the North Florida, Georgia, South Carolina area that flew out, drove out, and made it to that LAN out in Florence, South Carolina. And USC actually big time upset LAN win over Kennesaw State. Larry puts in a 6th, but USC 4-1 a team of Flitz, TNT, and Cronovi. They are peaking right now. So Florida on Brazil watch right now has their way with this series. A date with USC may be the best content to come out of this bracket so far.
Well, South Carolina ran through Florida in the SEC tournament title game. It wasn't even close. So we'll see, how that revenge goes later on this afternoon if they survive both Winthrop and Colorado. There's only 1 game in here, but this is about as good of a start you can ask for Florida.
Absolutely. I mean, commanding scoreline. You're going for psychos in the final seconds and just trying to have some fun with it. And again, this Florida team is big on the vibes. Their momentum is directly tied with how many goals they are scoring and how loud they're getting behind their PCs at home, and how good that VC must feel to be in. And Colorado can do a lot by coming out in game 2 and having a shutdown opening half, but right now a 6-1 scoreline is going to have Florida firmly in the driver's seat off the rip, and it's going to take a lot from Colorado in game 2. But from what I've seen on the pitch from Colorado, definitely not going to look at this and be like, oh, 6-1, the series is over, chalk it. No, Colorado, they've fought through adversity this entire season. This is just another stepping stone towards their war path that they've been on.
Right, game 1 is 6-1, the final score. Colorado, the offense had, within 1 at 2-1 about 4 minutes ago, but you got to be able to hold Florida to 1 or 2 goals a game if you can, because you're not going to, the defense is the problem here. You've got to be able to stop a really, really good Florida offense. That's exactly what NIU did last season. Their defense was incredible. So you've got to have good defense, and you have to be disciplined offensively to make the right decisions if you're going to contend and defeat a really good team such as Florida.
Yeah, their defense looked fairly decent. Again, I think it's the corners. If we're able to get these challenges off the corner a bit quicker, Florida loves to go for these double tap out of the corner, one touch on a 50, and then follow it up out of the corner. Get something mid for a teammate to finish off. Their 2-man game upfield is one of the best in the country right now. They play such a fundamental passing style of offense, and then when you start to lock that in, that's when they pull out the solo mechanics. That's when they pull out the flip reset double taps, and getting those solo efforts to fall their way is when they get a little bit more space given to them coming down central. But with Colorado, if you're able to dominate the midfield, if you're able to break up those passes out of the corner, your defense is going to be shored up enough to quell the offense that Florida can put up. And they had the opportunities down the field in game 1. It's just got to be able to shoot a little bit more efficiently, maybe pass up the initial shot for a better pass, go for that back wall. The backboard seemed pretty bare on the side of Florida. They weren't covering multiple lanes, but I guess it doesn't matter when you're putting up points like they are right now. It has been a Brazil through the opening 2 games to kick things off for Florida.
3:51 to go. Missouri, San Diego State just now getting started as CSU had their times all confused. So they're all, I think they just woke up. Sean B, I think Sean B just woke up. So they're a good thing situated right now. That series starting here in a couple minutes off broadcast. But Florida, Colorado, again, Florida's a heavy favorite. There's no denying that. But Colorado's offensive firepower, they've got a chance to win, but the defense has been the problem. If you can't stop this Florida offense, Somber, you and I both have seen how bad things get very quickly for teams playing against Florida.
Yeah, again, their offense is one of the best in the nation. They can go toe to toe with a lot of the heavy hitters when it comes down to offense, but it will again come down to can you start to play possession? Can you start to dominate the time spent in the Florida half? If you're able to do that, and it all starts at the midfield, and a good challenge from Cole will keep this one contained enough. And we're starting to see it here where we're setting up on sidewalls, and Digo now looking for a demo, does get it, gonna open it up for Cole, but Hammy Crackers does get back in time. Larry with the extension play out. That one will be a clang all the way back into the Colorado corner. Them on their own back line. Sap looking to get one back down and central for their teammate. They will get called off by Hammy Crackers. Ceiling touch down. Larry will read it off the 50. Back to Hammy. Hammy for one soft touch out of the corner. A good 50 on the follow through. Sap lays it down. Looking for the 50 as ice. They will put it just past. And Digo wanted to cut off Hammy Crackers. But again, you let that little bit of midfield slip earlier in that exchange, and Florida took it the mile and turned it into immediate pressure down the field. You need to hold firm there at the mid.
2 minutes left to go. Colorado just trailing 1. They're still, in this ball game. It's not as bad as game 1 was at this point in time, but this offense has got to get things going, Somber, or else it's going to be, it could get pretty bad. And you don't want to have, an 0-2 or 0-3 hole going into game 3 or 4. As Larry finds the second, 157. It's 2-0.
Down there in Florida, out in Gainesville, when it rains, it pours. 2 now, all by Larry. Assist going over the way of Sap, but this time unassisted. And Florida find their cushion here with just under 2 minutes left to go in this game 2. They look to take a commanding lead in the series, but Colorado can still fight back here. They've, again, shown flashes that their offense can contend and start to catch this Florida defense slipping just a little bit, but it's when you give that extra little inch of space, when you give that little extra bit to Florida, they will turn it right back on your head. And find it with possession down the other way. Flip reset from Cole. Will try to put it close post, and all three members for Florida there. A little bit stacked up. Larry turns it into a bodyguard play, gets the demo. Sap not able to maintain control. It will find his way back out to Hammy. Hammy with the double will be 50 down below by the defense of Colorado, and Digo clear downfield. Ice was looking for that bump, but Sap off the backboard will find the clear out. Now Sap getting bumped again. Hammy having to now go, but Ice able to put one through for Colorado. And again, this is what you need to do, is find the bumps, find some kind of way to open up that net, and maybe get some other players involved, and Colorado does just that.
There's 1:07 to go. The Buffaloes trailing with 67 seconds left. 6-7 as a minute 05 sovereign. And I had to throw that in there because why not? It's championship weekend. Come on, man.
Had to find
Classic.
a way to get in there somehow.
Duck smoking cigarette. Classic, man.
Hey, 50 seconds and ball in Florida half, but no one really going here for Colorado, which is a bit concerning to see. Ice finally does come through with a big challenge. Hammy, no boost. Infield pass going to be read by Larry in the clear out. Sap called off the play. Larry just going to go for a nice little flip reset, and Florida doing well to drain time, but you leave Hammy out in the island, but it's just fine. He locks it down on the back line and will go all the way down the pitch, be off target, but now Colorado has to take it coast to coast in these final 20 seconds here.
18 to go. Sap now back to it. 40 boost to use off the ceiling. It's cleared away by Cole. 13 to go. Colorado offense has got to go to work here. It's Ice with plenty of boost. Now some space. Flip a reset goes under around one. Get the demo. The shot will go through.
Through the smoke. You took a guess and couldn't put a hand on it. I don't think either player made contact on the back line. Ice, that's the final touch there. They wanted to try to get the flip through the smoke screen to get the secure. Ends up falling through the back line. And we'll find ourselves possibly to an OT scenario here in game 2. It looked like all but a sure thing. That one key demo, one key aggression play coming out for Colorado. Sap will keep it alive. Digo wants to keep it in Florida territory. Harsh bounce off the sidewall. And in game 2, we do see extra time here, nation. Overtime in game number 2 on Utopia Coliseum.
5 seconds overtime now as Florida looking for 2-0 in the best of 7. Colorado going to look for a 1-1 set going into game 3, but this feels like a must-win for Colorado. It honestly feels like this is game over if they lose here.
Yeah, very much does seem that way. You have to split these opening 2 against Florida, because a 2-0 scoreline, a lot of times we see in this, when the heavy favorite does go up 2-0, you see that game 3 dropped and then 2 straight wins again, and you do not want to find yourself in that classic scenario of like, hey, we get 1 game back and it looks like it might be favorable for us if we can turn things around. It's going to be very hard to get 2, 3, 4 straight against this Florida team. So you need to trade blows here. You cannot just concede 2 straight and then hope that you go on a generational run. You have to show that you can win out the close ones and force the close ones to even begin with. As now Cole out of the corner. One more touch was necessary, but it finds his way out to Hammy Crackers. Hammy with a nice 50 once more. Pull down below the catch, dribble underneath one, but Sap is there. Follow through on the 50. Will find his way back out to Digo, and Florida resetting here at the midfield. Finds it out to Larry. Flip a reset, takes it underneath, but great block coming out from Ice. And right now, the defense for Colorado being tested in OT, but it's coming out better for it.
Digo and Cole double reset attempt there. I think they both got flip reset off that ball. I'm not quite sure. It looked like it though. But 90 seconds into game number 2 overtime, still without a winner here as Colorado trying to make it 1-1. Is Cole going to find it over 1? Larry's alone will make the save. Hammy Crackers there in support. We play on nearing 2 minutes.
Larry back out, looking to set themselves up. Will initially finally find that second touch off the 50-50. Sap back out mid. Digo is there, but smothered by 2 defenders. Hammy and Larry both going. Now Ice looking for that pinch out mid. Larry will redirect it to the ceiling. Digo with the read down below, and now Cole comes over, slots it between 2. Larry on the back line will find clear out. And as far as the corner, Digo shoots. Larry to save. Hammy was there for safety. Now Ice had Digo, I believe, hugging Larry, forcing him up that ceiling, and now Digo, no boost, touch off the back wall. Does get away from him, and Sap has the resources to catch up to the play, but Digo now caught out at the midfield. Larry skies it, has boost to read it off the side wall. Cole to beat. Now Sap just going to put this one back towards Hammy Crackers. Digo threatening, forces that ball out awkwardly at the midfield, and Ice to take over the play once more. Shot on target. Hammy won't be able to put a hand on it, and Ice ices this game for Colorado. The Buffaloes now tie up the series.
2:45, it's Ice. They put the series back to 1-1, and that's a big-time goal for the Buffaloes. 1-1, it goes to series.
Very much so, and Colorado again, they've been fighting, they've been scrappy throughout the entire back half of this season, and now coming into playoffs, this is the team that you hate to play if you're Florida. You are the clear-cut favorite, but Colorado, they were given their seeding because of their season as a whole, not just their performance through playoffs. But if they were playing the way that they did the entire season, they would be a top team, maybe facing off Florida in a top 8 or a top 4 matchup. But here we are. You got to fight through the task that's in front of you, and Colorado is showing you that they are a tough opponent and a major hurdle in this road ahead for Florida.
4:50 left to go. Colorado, Florida, all even at 1, and now a best of 5 down the stretch. As again, Somber, and Colorado surviving that early, what felt like a must-win game. Now that you're back to even, things can go south for a game or two. Now you've got a chance to, battle yourself back into a difficult series, which is playing Florida.
Good 50 from Digo. Ice has the boost. Heavy-handed first touch will be read by Larry, and drop down off the ceiling. Sap won't be able to read it. Digo, nice 50, but eventually won out by Larry. Ice catch below, looking for the late flick. Hammy will do well enough to challenge it, but Sap dangerous in net. Ends up being able to find the save after dodging the demo attempt. Now Larry for a bump of his own, but forgot about Digo trailing the play. Finds the clear out. Hammy is there to shut it down at the midfield though. Big time bump opens up the net. Larry shoots it wide and falls wayward into the corner. Hammy Crackers does grab that Colorado corner boost and plays it underneath with a flip reset. Now looking for a bump, cannot chip Cole, and Daff has to force the play through. Larry hits the brakes, turns around, only gets a singular touch. Now Ice to sky to the backboard. Hammy Crackers will find a soft clear out. One more with a flip reset. Uses it to recover down below, and Sap again having to make the save on the back line. And opening minute and a half has been eventful for Colorado, and Florida lacking the opportunities that they saw through the opening 2 games to kick things off.
3:22 left to go. Colorado and Florida still leaving at 0. As Larry off the left wall around 1. We'll have some help there from Sap. Is Hammy going to chase this one down? Colorado 2 minutes in, no Somber. Things have looked better for Colorado the last couple minutes here of this series.
Very much so. I think that they got a lot of confidence from that OT win, and they're showing it. Again, this is what you need to do to combat Florida. Their midfield has been shored up. They are a iron wall at that midfield stripe, not allowing Florida to really play any time down the pitch, and they're responding with good shots. They're putting up pressure as well. It's kind of offense by assault. Things may not be falling too dangerously towards net, but it's enough to force people out of the play, force the rotations out by Florida and make them burn through boost. And you think with it building, eventually one will fall through the way of Colorado. And Digo looks to reset the offense out of the corner. Ice to take over, 31 boost in the tank, can't do much with it, so we'll concede possession over to Hammy Crackers, and they play that one out towards the midfield off the air dribble play. Digo flip a reset, gets the bump from a teammate, and Digo unassisted finds it through to finally crack the back line of Florida. Cole very much needed to get this little roadblock play against Hammy Crackers. They had to try to muscle through a Colorado player on their own back line. In 2:16, we see our first goal, and it goes the way of the Buffaloes.
2:13 to go. Hammy Crackers down to Larry. Upper corner won't fall through as Sap into the corner here. Just again, more news. Is Larry going to find one? It's a 1-1 ball game. This stream will actually pivot to the Midwest Regional Final after this series is over.
Now Larry finds the skimmer on in. Just like that, we're back to equal. 1-1, 2:04, and see if again Florida can get this offense rolling once more. Larry gets a big time win off of the kickoff, and now Hammy Crackers shoots, puts it wide, looks for their own rebound. Digo will 50 it out. Now Cole guys this one, puts it up towards the ceiling. Larry to Reed, plays it through the skies, has Ice challenging down below. Not a piece of it, but the 50 will fall the way of the Buffaloes. And now back out mid, look for a bump again is Digo. Cole up to challenge. Huge dunk against Hammy Crackers. Now Larry again has Cole floating, has to try to play it around the defense. Now Digo. Soft clear out. Back out to Sap. Got the demo on the back line, but a high touch to the backboard won't do much. Larry gets a bump on Digo in the skies. Sap now wanted maybe that corner read, or excuse me, sidewall read, but did not have the angle to do so. Hammy Crackers flip reset at the mid. All three Colorado members stacked up at that midfield line with space back out and look to go to work on offense. Digo turning off the play. Ice is chasing down Sap, does enough to force the flick out. Again, Sap redirect downfield. Hammy Crackers get too late to the play, and now with a minute left, tied ball game, and both teams struggling to find possession in each other's halves.
48 seconds to go. Florida, Colorado still equal at 1, and again, this game 1 was a blowout, but the last 10 minutes have been really, really entertaining. I mean, we've had close games. It's not been, a blowout like game 1. Colorado's locked back in. They've got Florida in a difficult situation here. Sap finds an open target. It's Koloff to save. 30 to go. We're still tied.
Well, it's going to be open net for the time being. Ice will get back in time to save that one away. Could have been the game winner here for Florida, but instead Larry will look for the dunk down below. Sap shoots it, puts it far post, and it's just enough pace behind the ball. Sap finds the go-ahead here for the Gators.
19 to go. Florida puts the Gators back within 1 at Sap as a 2-1 lead builds. Now Colorado with 19 seconds to equalize.
They have a response, a set piece here off the kickoff. They do not. Larry booms this one down. We'll have an open net, and there you go. You thought the second was the dagger. The third will be it. As 12 seconds, if you have a wing and a prayer here, if you're the Buffaloes, you might think that you have a chance, but few and far between are these opportunities actually seen out to be favored for the opposition. But Larry right now, Larry and Hammy Cracker is doing a lot of the heavy lifting in this game, I should say, to make sure that they get their way through and they get this game to go their way. It is now on 0-0s and no 2-pointers in Rocket League. Florida take the series lead.
Florida 2-1 goes to score after 3, and I like the back and forth. I think that's what makes this tournament entertaining. And game 1 sure was a blowout, but Colorado, I feel like they've kind of they've settled in. Game 1 sure it didn't go the way they wanted it to, but now at this point they're settled in. I think we're gonna be in for a long one.
Oh yeah, I definitely see this again in game 1. Going into game 2, I said you have to split the opening games. You have to find a way to go back and forth if you're Colorado, because a lot of times we see teams go up 2-0 and then you grab game 3 and you go, hey, we can get some momentum, and then you get stomped 2 games in a row again. Seeing that they are able to go back and forth, Florida needs a lot more in the way of momentum than Colorado does. I think if Colorado is able to play the defensive game and get those 1 or 2 goals and maybe force an OT late, they have the capabilities to take it to Florida and make this one a sweaty one. I think that we're in store for at least 6.
Yeah, I would say 6 is a good measurement. I'd say 7 was possible, but it's going to take a really strong effort out of Colorado, especially Cole, to get this offense going again. But Florida's really tough to beat, and if Colorado can't get their offense operating at a high enough power, I don't see a world in which Colorado win this series. And their defense has held up way better than game 1, obviously, but shutting down the midfield passing lanes to Hammy Crackers and Larry has been a testament that has been proven to be very difficult for 99% of teams across the country.
Yeah, I think very much just like how game 2 was a bit of an adjustment game and it took an overtime. I think that this game after the win, that one going to be saved away by Cole. Thought that was going to bounce around the woodwork and find its way through for goal number 1, but good on Colorado for keeping that one out and Cole being able to keep their composure. But I think that this is going to be another adjustment game, but I don't think it'll go the way of Colorado this time around. I think that Florida has kind of adapted to Colorado's play style, and now it's Colorado seeing if they can make any change-ups to contend with it. I think Florida are probably going to grab this game. Colorado bounced back in game 5, and that's where we see the game 6 with Florida in a 3-2 lead. But hey, I could be wrong. Colorado could come out and shock the world here with a big time game 4 and tie the series back up. And like you said, who knows? We might see 7, but so far, big minute and a half, nothing to do on the way of offense for either team. And Colorado does have their first real threat here. Sap looks to shut it down. Digo, no boost out of the corner. Sap will grab that 100 canister underneath. Hammy Crackers falls off Larry, looks for the solo play. Cole on low boost. Hammy Crackers off the post, but it will be cleaned up by Sap, and they send the house, and that time it pays off here for the Gators.
And it does. 1-0 here for Florida. Still a lot of clock to play, though, but again, Florida continuing to strike first. You know, they got the driver's seat control right now.
100%. And I think that's why this game goes the way of Florida. Colorado, they're going to need to find a bounce back game, and I think it does come in game 5 when we come to it. But I think that Florida just have Colorado's number just a little bit here in this game, and it's going to take an extra game to warm up to the new dynamics that we're seeing to this Florida team. You know, game 1 was a lot of the passes out of the corner and a lot of the quick plays downfield and setting up offense and working on different offensive sets. And Colorado was able to combat that very well in game 2 and put on a heck of a defensive display, and then ultimately win it in OT after forcing it late in game 2. And then game 3, the way of Florida was a lot of solo plays, a lot of demos, a lot of very aggression heavy Rocket League that we saw to be played, and it came late in the game. And I think that when you see gameplay changes like that, it takes a lot longer than the final minute and a half for a team to be able to turn things around going into the next one. I think that we're going to see a very tightly contested game here. We still see this 1-0 score line. Ice was looking to tie it back up. Cole does have a rebound shot, double tap opportunity. It's back off the crossbar. But yeah, this is going to be another adjustment game here for Colorado, but they can get it done, seeing as they are still very well shored up on this back line.
We have our first final score. Ball State defeats Syracuse. Waiting on the final score to come in. Ball State will advance to the regional final in the, I believe, the East Regional final. They'll play either James Madison or Pitt later on this afternoon.
That Ball State roster, it's a little funny because we are seeing through when we're seeing through RLCS, we're seeing a little bit of a Maction roster. Oxy, Yags, and Phoebes are all on a team together. So it just goes to show how well both of those teams know each other, is that they feel confident enough to the team with each other in RLCS. What a squishy from Hammy Crackers. My goodness. Digo, let's try their best to 50 against Larry, but there's a little funny piece there that we see them as bitter rivals here in the MAC for CCS, and 2 of the tournament favorites to make it to top 4, if not meet each other in the grand finals. And they're teaming up with each other. A little bit of camaraderie found through the rivalry as well through RLCS. So 45 seconds and still 1-0, and Colorado could come back fighting here. A demo at the midfield might open things up. Ice will change the tempo, but does not matter. Hammy Crackers will find the good 50, and all the way back down into Colorado territory we go.
Nothing the final there for Ball State. Florida 1-0 here though in game 4, and Colorado trying to do their best to get this series back to level as Florida can get the match point somber with 1 more win.
Dap, good 50. Cole not able to find the read, but Digo is quick on the cleanup. More touch out of the corner. Ice gets dunked by Larry, and that might find its way through. And you try to get a little too aggressive here in the final seconds, and it's rightfully the thing that you have to do if you're Colorado here. But Florida takes 1 good dunk, and that is going to be it. Florida will be taking the 3-1 series lead, and now up to Colorado to try to muster a campaign to win 3 straight, or Florida wins 1 more. And that should be game here as 0-0 is on the clock. Sap 1 more touch, takes to the backboard because why not try to stat pad, put a 3rd on the goal, and ultimately it will touch the turf, and Florida moving on with a 3-1 lead here.
Florida's best placement's top 8 back when season 4 when that Colorado roster went to the Final Four with Akron. I mean, they knocked off Florida in the Elite Eight of the West Regional Final, and now Florida a chance to go back there for a second time and play even beyond that into a Final Four for the first time ever if they advance it tomorrow.
We will see. As again, there's still a possibility that Colorado takes us to 6 or even the distance in this best of 7. But with how Florida's playing, again, I think that the thing with Florida is they play dynamically, where they can kill you with the team plays, they can kill you with the 2-man game, they can kill you with solo plays. It really is hard that going this deep into a series, you have to make adjustments to play any type of style that Florida throws at you, and they can make those same adjustments based on what the defense is giving them. And it's going to be a tough game 5 ahead here for Colorado, but from what they've shown on defense, they can find a way. But it's what are you lacking on the offensive side? Why are you not getting that same output you got earlier in the series? And see if they're able to find an answer to that and turn things around and extend us one game further.
Absolutely. Now Colorado facing elimination for the rest of the way through this best of 7. So now you got to win 3 straight to advance it to this afternoon's regional final, which again, we don't know the opponent here quite yet for Colorado or Florida. It'll either be Winthrop or South Carolina. Expecting that to be South Carolina, obviously, but you never know. That's why we play these games.
Yeah, absolutely. Winthrop has been on quite the tear. Phantom has been getting some reps called up to Nace with the Percy and Ticarel roster, subbing in for Garrett G. So they have been on a huge improvement path, and Winthrop overall has just been getting better and better results. So who knows? And that's, again, like you said, why we play these games, and a little bit of a South Carolina matchup, a little in-state rivalry there. So some bragging rights to be had if they for either team that wins that matchup. And your reward will be to play what is looking like Florida, but Colorado, again, done well to quell the offense being put out by Florida in this opening minute and a half, but can they find some type of response on the other end? Hammy Crackers looks to open up the scoring, but saved away by Ice, as they have been a key factor. I feel like their name has been said around the pitch constantly for this Colorado squad, but eventually Hammy Crackers will do Hammy Crackers things and pinch it off of Sap's car in for goal number 1.
There's one, 3:18 to go. Now Florida just need to hang on for 3 minutes and 18 seconds, and they're through. This afternoon's regional final at 5 Eastern, 3:18 left. Now Colorado must score twice to keep their season alive.
Florida will be able to hang on, but the question is, will they put on more here? Larry looks to just turn, shoot, put on a second, and 2 goals has been the magic number in terms of a lead here for Florida. If they are leading by 2, they're feeling pretty confident. So now ball is fully in Colorado's court to see what they can bring to us for these final 3 minutes and 8 seconds.
Another result comes through. Akron Gold 4, Indiana 0, your final score. Akron will move on to the Midwest Regional Final. We'll play either number 2 Purdue or number 3 Maryland at 5 Eastern on this main broadcast. That's coming up next here. As again, Florida makes it 3-0. They're running away here.
Yeah, looking a lot more like game number 1, where we saw that 6-1 scoreline in favor of Florida. Sap downfield already waiting for the ball to come their way, and all they need to do is tap it on in on the long shot. 3-0, 2:54 on the clock. Colorado needs something quickly here to stop the bleeding that Florida is putting up on their own net. Digo flip a reset, was looking for the musty, taken away by Hammy, and now Cole. Soft touch back to themselves. Sap and Larry both combine for the save. The pinch goes the wrong direction, and Sap will have an open net to shoot on once again, and Colorado is slipping here in game number 5.
Things just continue to get worse for Colorado. Somber and Sap another cherry-picking goal. It's 4-0, 2:37 to go. Still half the game remaining.
2:37 on the clock, and again, crazier things have happened, but Colorado need to show me something here that they can score quickly and in bunches. Big time dunk from Digo will go the way into the corner for Florida. Larry dunked by Ice. Ice off the ceiling. Does not have an avenue to shoot. Hammy Crackers stays trolling around the backboard, and Larry wanted to get the catch and dribble play down below. Sap on no boost. Looks to feed this one off the back wall. Hammy Crackers grabs that corner boost off spawn. Digo to go, and good 50 from Larry. Ice looking to get it back mid, but this time Sap will find the clear out. Cole. That second touch off the sidewall, can't find it. Larry, a little bit of a 50-50 here. No cleanup for Florida, and no fifth goal will be found. Under 2 minutes to go now, and Colorado having to fight through this Florida backline.
Another final score comes through. South Carolina 4, Winthrop 1. The final is Colorado Fine 1. 146, they're within 3.
Yeah, that's going to be a great revenge game for Florida potentially on the docket. And South Carolina, again, they've been on a heater. They have a land win under their belt against stout competition. Kennesaw State being one of the best teams in the country with Kernovi, TNT, and Flitz. And Florida going to have their shot at it as Colorado do find one on the board. 3 goals to go with about 90 seconds left. It's going to take a lot to get back into this ball game, and let alone this series, if they want to not have Florida get their date back with their SEC rival here in CCS with South Carolina. And with Larry carrying it through the skies and doing well to burn clock, that job is going to get even tougher here for the Buffaloes. Hammy Crackers off the back wall, now plays it almost past Cole, but they do get the 50, go straight to the ceiling, and now Larry looking to clear out a lane for Hammy Crackers. Hammy Crackers posts up at the midfield, looking to get back to Hammy. Was Larry with the pass back mid. Now Larry again looks to just keep this one contained, puts it over to the opposite sidewall. Ice, no redirect out of the corner. Digo looks for the dunk. Sap stands tall and finds the catch on through. Hammy Crackers another big 50 off their own back wall. Game dashing around trying to get back to it, and Cole will opt for the back pass to let Colorado go ahead and breathe here for just a moment.
38 seconds to go. Larry gonna find a fifth, and I think that's the kill shot if the fourth one already wasn't. Somber. 36 seconds left. Colorado more than out of time here, down by 4.
Yeah, the Gators basically had this one in the bag at the 4-0 score line, but now with a 5-1, 36 seconds left, you're going to need goal less than every 10 seconds to just force the OT. It's tough here to see how hard fought the last 3 games were from Colorado and how narrow the score lines. We had a OT thrown in there as well. Then for Florida to just come out and say, hey, we got it downloaded, we're absolutely dialed, come out and put up 5-1. It could be a 6th here. Digo will find the save out. Game Crackers back at the midfield, just going to sky this one and again kill some time off the clock. Digo down below. Ice puts it back center. Hammy Crackers having none of that for the garbage time goals here for the Buffs. Now Larry clear out, and that should be all she wrote for this series. Florida going to have a commanding Game 5 win, take the 4-1 series victory here, nation, and they move on to play South Carolina.
South Carolina will take on Florida at the top of the hour off the broadcast, and we'll again have reports for you later on that final score. But that's going to be one hell of a game taking place here in about 30 minutes. Yeah, but again, I mean, what a showing.
Match.
What a showing it was. Florida, they're dominant 2 of those games. I mean, Colorado did get to 1 in overtime, but, you know, things happen. Colorado's still a good result for that roster. It's a brand new roster. They're going to learn together and get better. I think Ice is a youngster. I think Digo's on his senior season, so I think he's got 1 more semester out of him. But again, that's still a really young roster. 2 of those guys are young. I believe Cole's like a sophomore, so they've got time to grow and learn together. And it's going to be another really good team come spring. They're ready to roll again. Cole's back in the lineup. I'm expecting bigger and better things for Colorado in the spring.
Yeah, I think again this Colorado team, it was a little bit of the like, hey, you had a not great start to the season, but you had a really strong finish, and you won your tournament. You didn't get the best seeding because of your season as a whole. Realistically, this should have been a semifinals matchup, but unfortunately, you're playing it around earlier. But yeah, you're going to find yourself in a better position with Cole back in the roster or back in the lineup for the full time in spring. When you're not just having to come down to your conference playoffs and the national championship to fight out these tough teams earlier in the bracket than you should be, you're going to have a better run at things. So I'm looking forward to the spring for Colorado, and they had one heck of a run to get here in the first place.
Absolutely, they did. And here in a moment, we're going to go to break as Akron will take on Purdue or Maryland. Coming up here after our break, Somber, is we're going to go to break. When we come back again, number 1 Akron versus number 2 Purdue or number 3 Maryland.